Brian test.
Get in there. It's a dog hair.
Successful. Just waiting for correct opportunity. Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mercedes ML500 2006 7-speed transmission. So here we are in probably our most luxurious vehicle that we've done a review on. And it's an SUV. And this is not a crossover, which I know a lot of people now, when you see these type of vehicles, you think it's a crossover, but no. David, why don't you tell us a little bit about this drivetrain that's in this lovely German-made vehicle?
Well, like I said, it's powered by a 5-liter Mercedes-Benz V8, 302 horsepower. This is one of the V8s they use in a vast majority of their model line. So if you see any vehicle rolling around with a letter 500, it's more than likely going to have this powertrain. This powers damn near everything. This is the 4.6 motor for Mercedes-Benz, just like how Ford uses the 4.6 in every damn vehicle in their model lineup. Now, it does have a 7-speed 7G Tiptronic transmission.
Can you explain what the G means?
I don't know what the G means. It's probably generation.
Oh, fair.
Tiptronic means continuously variable timing, CVT. Except I don't even know if it's that. The RPMs do look kind of weird whenever you're driving.
It's more like just like VV2.
Yeah.
Which is variable valve timing, which every car has. Hello, Honda boys, your VTEC is not special. Yes, that is for engines.
Yeah. But anyways.
That's a lot of shit there.
But anyways, this is not a front-wheel drive vehicle.
Not a front-wheel drive vehicle. This is an all-wheel drive vehicle, which if you see a bunch of Mercedes-Benz driving around with 4MATIC on the rear of their car, that means they have all-wheel drive. However, by the time we got to 2006, Mercedes-Benz dropped that branding, and now it's just a part of the model as it is.
And for the people who don't know what all-wheel drive means, it means that there's a differential, which means a component that turns your wheels both in the front and the rear. This helps really well when going through snow, rain. It just maintains traction, which is very great. However, it does use more fuel because you are channeling more power amongst just not one differential, but now two.
Unlike most vehicles that have a V8 and, you know, multi-wheel drive and towing capacity, this does not have a low range, which you'll see for a lot of four-wheel drive vehicles, which you would use low range for getting up hills when you have a payload or other things where you have to move slow but with as much power as possible. This doesn't have a low range. An older ML that I drove, a 97 a few years back, that did have a low range as well as all-time all-wheel drive. It's a little bit curious why Mercedes-Benz would omit a transmission with a low-range option, but I mean, the characteristic of this car now is it doesn't tow anymore. This is your people mover. This is what you use to get around town in the most luxurious fashion you can.
And it's not a bad looking car. Now, one of the things that was very interesting, we just actually went over a pothole right now and we hardly felt that. David, how about you tell us a little bit about the suspension that comes included with this?
Now, the suspension setup is an air suspension for all of you back boys out there. It does use airbags, which, I mean, if one of those airbags goes out, contrary to the popular belief that if you have a Mercedes-Benz, you're going to be spending a lot of money repairing it, but one of those bags, probably about 200 something bucks. Get that, replace it, you're good to go. Do I turn here?
No, keep on going straight.
But yeah, get one of those bags, pop it in, you're good to go. Airbag suspension. There are controls on the center console here for sport mode, comfort mode. You can raise the suspension. You can have it go back down to, you know, stock height, which is the same button. But yeah, this is all controlled from the inside of the vehicle. There's nothing auxiliary that you need to worry about, and it's all done right here on the center console. If you go into sport mode, it just raises the pressure in the bag, so the suspension's a little bit tighter and you can feel a lot more of the road, which we have it in right now. And even in sport mode, it's still incredibly comfy because, see, we just went under a dip right here on a horrible road, barely felt it. If you go into comfort mode, that just lowers the pressure in the bags, and then it just makes it a little bit more cushiony.
Lets it go ahead and kind of squish in, so when you're going ahead and going over that road that may have that bump, may have a pothole, that pressure that you would normally feel inside the cabin is being absorbed in the bag. The tighter it is, the more you're going to feel it everywhere. If there's less pressure in there, it will go ahead and absorb it more inside the bag.
Exactly. And if you happen to need to get over something big, like a curb that you just saw a few minutes ago,
Correct opportunity! Oh my god!
then you would use the function to raise the suspension. But I mean, this thing sits high enough as it is. You can get over pretty much almost any obstacle you need to.
And the nice part with it is, given the height of it, it's still very easy to get into. It's not like a pickup or anything like that where you have to, like, you know, throw your leg on top and pull yourself in with the overhead handle. It's a very comfortable ride. Honestly, I would compare the comfort of this 2006 vehicle with the comfort of the 2019 Ford Edge review that we did, which you can go ahead and view that right here in the middle. But it's definitely a car that's been it's withstanding, you know, the cuts and the damage of time, given it still feels like a relatively new vehicle. Interior's a little outdated, but nothing too severe. I mean, you see this probably in your entry-level Chevy commuter cars. But how about we get an unbiased non-car enthusiast opinion? Brian?
Yes.
You've been awfully quiet today. How you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, man, those brakes, you feel those good. I think are these two-piston brakes?
These are just stock 2-piston brakes.
You know, given from your aspect, because I know you are definitely a gentleman who's just looking for just for the car to go ahead and do what it needs to. So, exactly. So, I mean, what are you feeling from a non-car enthusiast aspect? How you feel about this particular SUV luxury car?
I mean, it is comfortable. I've ridden in here a few times. Seats are great.
How is your middle seat back there? Because you are always about the middle seat.
Yes, I am very about the middle seat. It's very okay. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a little harder than these cushions.
For everyone at home, if you're the youngest sibling, you understand that how uncomfortable the middle seat is.
Yeah, but the middle seat has the most power. You got to see where you're going.
Sorry, are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
Your
You
opinion's
sound the middle
voided.
seat as the oldest.
Excuse me?
I doubt that he did. We'll have to talk to his sister.
No, I mean it's good. It gets from A to B. There's a lot of fucking storage capacity. So if you are a mover like I am, you can fit.
Are we not attacking Brian for the amount of times he moves in here?
We're not attacking Brian again. I don't want to attack Brian. That's just too mean.
Yeah.
Well, here's the next part of it. So, given this vehicle, so when it originally released back in 2005, 2006, it was MSRPing at about 40 to 50,000, depending on features, of course. So, given the current price point, let's go ahead and just take a look. Let's see how much, because this vehicle was thankfully loaned to us by the lovely sponsors of the show. Thank you very much.
Mr. and Mrs. M. I'm gonna bleep out my last name. Mr. and Mrs. M.
Mr. and Mrs. M.
This is Mrs. M's car. Truck.
M with an EM, or M is just the letter M?
M.
M, so it is
The letter.
Oh.
The letter.
The way you say it just makes me think.
Well, I was shouting out M so that this asshole knows to say M.
I mean, this comes from the guy who flashed John's address on a PC build.
Whoops.
Whoopsies!
Whoopsie. Well, you know, we fixed that in post.
Alright, let's go ahead and clip back in. Alrighty, so MSRP at the time, currently, if you are wanting to get yourself into a Mercedes ML500, you are looking at the fair market range. Now, this is coming from KBB. I never really trust them because they're owned by Auto Trader. So it's kind of weird that the company that, you know, makes estimates on vehicles, also one of the biggest used car dealerships ever. But they are listing the price fair between $5 to $7 grand. So that's actually not a very bad price, given the type of vehicle that this is. It does, keep in mind, money-wise, with how much you need to invest into this car, it is a V8, meaning 8 cylinders, 8 spark plugs that you do need to maintain.
8 coil packs, which
8
those
coil
things can
packs.
go for about 200 a pop
Yeah,
themselves.
you have to be careful when you're getting into, I'm not going to say exotic, but when you get into these type of import vehicles, this being a German vehicle, everyone knows it. You get into a German car, it's definitely going to be more expensive just because a lot of parts do have to be imported, because guess what? Mercedes doesn't have any factories in the good old United States.
If you wanted a comparable vehicle that is on the same level of luxury without too much of the maintenance cost, you could always just step down your game and look at an ML320, which is their V6 variant, which it could also be an ML350 depending on the year. V6 variant, but you get the same creature comforts and the same suspension setup as the V8 variant. Really, the only difference is the motor choice.
Very true, and that's one thing that Mercedes did keep in mind. I mean, they have to live up to that luxury brand name. You don't want to be getting into a Mercedes with like a Toyota or a Nissan aspect. You know, you definitely want to go ahead and feel like, hey, that extra money when somebody was buying this vehicle brand new in 2006, they wanted to know that their money was being well spent. As you can tell on the dash, very similar to the Mercedes C240 that we did as our very first Sunnyside video. It does come with a dial pad for when you're on the go. Mercedes knows you are staying busy and did not realize that Bluetooth was going to be excelling beyond all else, that you could just tell Siri to go ahead and call whoever you need to. But back to price. I'm sorry, I strayed up a little bit. So obviously maintenance-wise, it's going to be a bit. The big one also to keep in mind is it is a V8 fuel cost. This vehicle does come with a 25-gallon tank. That would be equivalent to 2 Yaris's, a Dart and a half. I would say even like a Mustang and a quarter, maybe 3 Eclipses, Eclipti.
Half of the fuel capacity of the F350.
That's true. Yep. It does average miles per gallon about 14. Now, obviously, this varies depending on the driver, the suspension choices that we told you about, and then also how old the vehicle is. If you are maintaining it with those good old spark plugs and coil packs and fresh oil, because I'll tell you one thing, German cars absolutely love fresh oil. Absolutely. You do not want to let these get too rough.
Fuel costs don't really help out either, too, because with a 25-gallon tank, that is 25 gallons of premium unleaded that you have to throw in this engine.
That's true, and at the shooting of this video in Arizona, premium currently is about $3.15. Doing the math.
Where the hell are you going?
This is right up the neighborhood. Times 25. So you'd be looking at almost $82 to fill this car up. That's diesel territory. But
No, I wouldn't say diesel territory. I only spent like $50 filling up the truck when we were doing that review.
that's very true.
Yeah. What's up?
Alright, now let's talk about the most important thing about any vehicle: cup holders. How many cup holders does this car come equipped? We got 2 in the front. Is there anything in the armrest? No. I know there's 2 right behind Brian in the pool. Is there anything in the door? Yep, we got 2 right there. So 4.
4.
I think that's very low.
Oh, wait.
Is there some down there?
No.
No. 4. I'm gonna give it a thumbs down for cup holders.
Why do you
that
need
seems-
more than 4?
Okay, if there's something that the Homeless Ninja and I always discuss is the, the value and the importance of a vehicle is based off of the number of cup holders it has. Because guess what? How many does this vehicle fit comfortably? It fits 5 comfortably, and you could probably fit 2 more in the very
I would
back.
say, no, if we're talking comfortably, I would say 4.
4? You're not comfortable, Brian?
4.
I could be more comfortable.
So would you say an SUV only being able to suit 4?
I would not go in this.
And where are you getting 7 from?
Because they can still fit back here.
Yeah, they can just sit down, but there's no seatbelts back there. It's not recommended by the National Highway Safety
Technically,
Alliance.
they're in the very back. Arizona law, only the 2 front people have to keep their seatbelts on. Don't quote me on that. It's probably changed, but back in my day. Ryan puts his seatbelt on. He's had that on this whole time.
So why would you ever need more than 4 cup holders?
Okay. You got your girlie and the passengers.
There should be 5 cup holders.
Move on.
That's actually more logical.
Technically, those cup holders back there can hold 3 drinks. That's
Let's
3.
just say they're really big cups.
Okay,
we're talking
4.
about 4 comfortably. But
Why do you gotta be so difficult?
here's the downside. If you got 5 people in here, you don't have access to those 2 cup holders in the back. So then you're limited to only 2 cup holders.
Oh my God.
Are you aware of how sturdy or lack thereof sturdiness there is when it comes to those paper cup holders?
Well, I'm assuming it would help if it was like a full-size drink and not a really thin can. Angel.
Fair. Fair. I will give you that. But what I'm saying is you got your girlie in the passenger seat or your wifey, if you're married, congratulations. You got your homies in the back. Homie's got one of his girls, and then you got your other third stringer who is just, has a lot of self-esteem issues, and he's just along for the ride and makes a dirty joke every once in a while. You all want to go to Jack in the Box at 11 at night.
Yes, I'm in. Take me.
Everyone's going to get a drink, are they not?
Yes.
Do you know anybody who's all like, it's 11 p.m., let's go to Jack in the Box, but guess what? I don't need a beverage.
Well, if you're just getting those tacos.
You don't need a delicious drink to wash down those delicious tacos?
No, but if you're getting a tasty burger you made.
AC's working great. To your knowledge, because Mrs. M, how long has she owned this vehicle for?
She has owned this vehicle for 6 years?
6 years. That's pretty good. That's
5 years, maybe?
So about the term of a loan, essentially.
Thereabouts.
Has Mrs. M had any issues whatsoever with this vehicle?
No, except for probably an airbag going out and a coil pack going out. Just standard maintenance. The bitch works from home, so she only has to drive to the office every now and then, which granted it is in Tempe, so it's a bit of a drive. So this thing doesn't really get that much mileage on it through its day-to-day life.
Well, given that fuel cost, I wouldn't imagine, somebody would... I don't see this really being a good one for somebody who has a long commute for work.
Exactly.
This may be good for maybe travel if you are on the East Coast where weather conditions are prevalent often. And I believe this light you're going to make a left.
I want my money back on this GPS, Brian.
Why?
I don't like the way he talks.
What? The way I talk.
Oh, okay, I get it now. I was like, what are you talking about? This is M paid great money for this.
Fair. Very, very fair. But overall, for this vehicle, would I recommend it? I actually would. I would recommend it for, honestly, our East Coast people. Even though you guys did see some off-roading going on with this vehicle, this is not something that if your Tacoma friends are all like, hey man, let's go take on Devil's Butthole.
Well, let me back you up right there, because I think this thing could easily keep up with a stock Tacoma that's going off-roading or something like that. This thing could easily just keep up with all of those. Just raise the ride height, take it nice and slow, you can still keep up with them.
We can go into the debate of all-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive in another time. But we'll leave it at there before we dive in too deep, because it's going to turn into that crazy debate going back and forth, and we're going to have some giraffes and whatnot.
Giraffes?
Pie charts.
Oh, okay.
Giraffe. Oh, you f***ed up graph.
You did f*** up graph.
That was the joke, you uncultured swat.
I don't think that was a joke.
I thought you said draft. Oh, I thought
Oh,
this guy
God.
said, yeah.
Oh, we really escaped out of that one. But overall, I would definitely recommend this vehicle. It's very comfortable. It is practical. It's realistic. It doesn't stand out as much, but it still does have that very predominant Mercedes logo. Everybody is very aware of what it is.
Yeah, this car is pretty much like the epitome of stealth wealth. It is a little bit of an investment to get this vehicle, but you will not regret it 1 minute. It's easy to live with. It can be fun at times. It can serve all of your practical needs, even if you have to tow a small trailer from U-Haul every once in a while.
If you have to move every year.
Yeah, you have to move every year.
I wasn't expecting that from him, not you.
But yeah, I mean, 300 horsepower. I feel like that's the good
That's
number.
the sweet spot.
It is, because it's one. I always say this. So safety comes a long way, and a lot of times being able to get in and out of certain situations comes down to the amount of horsepower that you have. With that being said, if you're chilling at just about like, apologies to our lovely Yaris owner, but 104 horsepower compared to 300, you know the difference being able to overtake somebody if they're being too slow and your turn's coming up in about a quarter of a mile.
Exactly.
So I do feel like all around, I mean, aesthetically it looks okay. There are better SUVs out there. The Grand Cherokee definitely looks a lot better than this.
It's very understated, I would say. It's very incognito.
Yeah.
You blend in.
Yeah, and I never heard of anybody being like, hey, you know what car I love? The Mercedes ML500. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Mercedes ML500.
Highly recommended by Sunnyside Auto.
And Desert Octane. Yep, fist bump, sideways. And, there we are. But yeah, feel free to make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you guys are enjoying the entertainment. We're seeing those views, so I'm assuming you guys are liking these weekly videos coming out. We're going to go ahead and keep working hard at it to make sure we can keep bringing you the best entertainment that Arizona can bring that keeps your clothes on.
If you want to have your car be in a Sunnyside review, just send us a DM, send us a text, send us a Discord message, like us on Instagram. Just get in touch with us. We'll shove you in the back with Brian, make sure he gets the middle seat, and we'd love to do it. Wait, what?
Get your next lane. There you go.
Wait,
You
that?
want to get in the far right lane.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody, and we'll catch
Oh.
you on the next one.
I see where I gotta go. I miss the Cavalier.
Okay.
I miss a villain to hate on.
Oh, is the Z community just getting boring for you now?
Oh no, I still hate the Z community, but they're not as threatening as the Cavalier community.
What is a Z community?
Like 350 and 370 Zs?
Oh,
Nissan Zs.
those,
Nissans.
I would get those if I didn't have my car.
Even more so just to spite David.
Nissan's
Now,
just
yes.
circling the drain.